Okay, my name is Warren Montgomery. I'm the district attorney for this area, and I'm going to be moderating this. Let me start with one of the first of the 5 questions. And the first question is, why are you the best candidate for Senate District 89? David Ellis.
My background in developing and working with other legislators at the Leadville City Council, my love for this community, which has been extended over many years, working in Leadville as an appointed position followed by 2 elected positions in the City Council. To me, it all boils down to how can we help our citizens, how can we improve our area, and what can we do to better listen, collaborate, and make the adjustments and changes that are necessary to bring our area, but the whole state as well, into a better place. I'm in here. We're dead last in most of the economic indicators, and I believe that there's tax reform that's needed. I believe the budget reform is needed, and truly I believe that there's several other reforms that are needed. And whether or not we can get a constitutional convention, I still think we need to find out what makes sense for both and balance the interest of both the businesses and the residents alike. The difference for me is I've been through it. A lot of people know my background as far as working more recently, say on a bike path that went to nowhere, and I was in support of a bike path over in front of Fountain Road, if you're not familiar. And when the residents came and rallied and said they did not want it for X, Y, and Z reason, I followed it. And this is something that I think we need to do is get a pulse of our area, understand what it needs, and follow it there.
Yes, I'm Vince Lyuza. I'm 50 years old, and about 20 years I've been calling Mandeville home. Small business owner, job creator, owned Lyuza Realty Group. I grew up on the South Shore, 3rd generation Jesuit High School graduate. And I grew up working in my family's restaurant business. My grandparents and great-grandparents had Lyuza's restaurant. My parents founded Cuco's Mexican restaurants in the 1980s. That's the business that I grew up in. That's where I got my executive management experience, all the way from busboy to I was 13 years old as vice president of operations when we sold our interest in the business in the late 1990s. That's when I transitioned to residential real estate. For the last 20 years here in Mandeville, I've been focused on selling and building homes and communities. I'm running, and I think I'm the best qualified for this position to get your question. Because I'm running because I'm tired of the lists. I'm tired of us being the top of the bad list, the bottom of the good list. I'm tired of Louisiana having the most hostile business environment in the country. I'm tired of our kids leaving the state. It's brain drain. I'm tired of the union competitive work. And I'm tired of St. Tammany Parish not getting our fair share, our appropriate share of the funding for our infrastructure needs. So I'm running to take my unique skill set as a business executive manager and a realtor, where we know how to negotiate, bring people together, make deals, and then hopefully close that deal and move on to the next deal with the next group of people. And I think those are some very specific skill set that we need as a legislator that I have and that I bring to this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Richard Nelson. So I would say the 3 things that set me apart from everybody else here. I would say 1 is experience. It might sound funny coming from a guy who looks like he's 19, but I grew up here, and I was Valley Point Mandeville High. I went to LSU, got a degree in biological engineering, graduated at the top of my class. Went to law school, got a degree, got a law degree, graduated at the top of my class, and then I was selected for the Foreign Service of the State Department. I moved all around the world protecting embassies overseas from terrorism and espionage. I came back to D.C., managed a bunch of projects in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Pakistan. Millions of dollars, $65 million or so, program with hundreds of employees, with projects all over the world. I came back here, now I'm vice president, and I'm an engineer at a company called Chemo Link over on the Mandeville Lakefront. We, again, manage million-dollar projects all the time for local firms and also billion-dollar companies that are all over the world. I mean, I just got off a call on the way here. I was talking on the phone with Beijing, London, and Mandeville. So, I mean, that's just kind of the scope of the things I'm involved in. But I think that the second thing would be the commitment, right? I grew up here. I grew up right down the street. I'm raising my kids right down this street. I have 3 little boys, Michael, Arthur, and Jack. One goes to Pontchartrain Elementary, and the other 2 go to my mom's preschool over at Holy Trinity in Covington. So I have a lot riding on this state, and I have a lot riding on its future. So I'm really interested in making sure that everything goes well. And we're all worried about these lists and where we are in them. The final thing I would say is the vision. How are we going to fix it? And that's what I understand. I understand these policy issues. I've dived into them deeply. I don't need anybody to explain them to me. I'm an engineer, I'm an attorney. I've looked at all these problems. I'm a former diplomat. I've fixed these kind of things. I've talked to people all over the world with 1,000 different viewpoints and people who don't even speak English. And I've been able to bring those people together to solve problems. And that's what I'll do in the legislature, and that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Well, I'm a retired Marine Corps officer and a pilot for 20 years. I'm an endorsed Republican candidate for this seat. During my military career, I flew combat missions during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm in other parts of the world. I was responsible for multi-million-dollar budgets to coordinate flight operations of aviation assets on land, sea, and during wartime and peacetime. I was part of the developmental studies, the advanced concept and aircraft development studies for the Marine Corps for future aircraft being developed and how they were going to be implemented. My military career demonstrates my ability to work under stress conditions and get the job done correctly. Demonstrates my leadership ability and demonstrates my dedication to serve the people of this community and of the United States. I know and have worked with most of the members of the St. Tammany Parish Legislative Community. I will work with them to form teams to get legislation which supports and maintains a thriving St. Tammany Parish. And I'm going to invest in the economy, fixing the budget, and investing in our people. I believe our primary job is to serve the people by being a full-time representative. All my kids are grown, and so I can dedicate my time to becoming a full-time legislator. And if need be, I will give up my job as a corporate pilot to be that full-time legislator.
I'm Erin Grace Powell. I have lived in Manville for the last 37 years. I worked at St. Tammany Parish Schools with 30 years as a school psychologist. After I retired, I went to work in Alaskan bush for a couple of years. I spent a lifetime advocating for families and children. As a mother, grandmother, sister, daughter, and friend, I will bring a fresh perspective to the state legislature. I am uniquely qualified as both an educator and a mental health professional. I'm passionate about education, mental health, infrastructure, and fighting for environmental preservation. I am a mainstream candidate, and I support policy based on evidence, not ideology. I am considerate of traditional values and new ideas in the context of evolving needs. I value compromise and moderation. I will strive for common sense solutions that address current and future needs. That's it.
And this is our second question. Vince, and this will be the same question, of course, for all of you. After Vince, Richard will move to you, and then back down, and then back to David Ellis. How would you improve the business climate in Louisiana to retain and attract business?
That's the number one question in my mind, because we have the most hostile environment in this country. We're losing jobs, our kids are leaving the state. And in order to fix all the fundamental problems like that, properly fund education, properly fund our infrastructure needs, which are so important here in St. Tammany, we have to improve the business climate. We have to create jobs, reduce the taxes on businesses and individuals, and grow business. Then the city has the revenue that it needs to properly fund and prioritize all of our needs. It's just a fundamental thing, and if you don't fix that, you don't fix any other problems. If we fix business, if we grow business, grow the economy, we have the money to fund infrastructure, to fund healthcare, to fund all the different priorities that we have. Some of the things we need to start with is we can't tinker around the edges. We have to be bold and come up with some really good comprehensive reform of business. One of the things we need to do is consider a limited constitutional convention so that our legislators no longer have their hands tied. We can control more of the budget, and then we go in and make new rules and policies, such as we need to reduce or get rid of the inventory tax, the franchise tax, some specific things like that. We need to work with organizations like the Pelican Institute, lobby, and other think tanks to come up with comprehensive tax reform to make it more pro-business and therefore more pro-family environment here in the state.
Thank you, Vince. And Richard? how would you improve the business climate in Louisiana?
Yeah, so I think that there's probably two major things. Part of the reason that all the companies move away from Louisiana, part of the reason all the people move away from Louisiana, is that we have an income tax structure that punishes success, right? You have a top personal income tax rate of 6%, you have a top corporate income tax rate of 8%. Well, in Texas, both of those are zero. So you can't really compete with zero. You don't have to be an accountant to understand that. So one of the things we have to look at is either cutting those rates down by eliminating a lot of the credits and deductions, lowering those rates so that we're competitive with our sister states and neighbor states. The other thing would be that we have to go through and we have to look at things like tort reform. I mean, companies say that all the time. Every day, all the doors I knock on, people say, hey, look, I'm tired of all these billboards. I'm tired of all these billboards. And a lot of times people want to say, like, can we just get rid of the billboards? And the problem is getting rid of the billboards doesn't fix the problem. The problem is that we have a legal system that's really slanted toward extorting money from people in accidents. And that's the problem. We have to get rid of all that money. Or the way to do that is to really look at the legal system and how we're different than the other states. And there are. There's very specific things, the reg action statute, there's a seatbelt gag order. There's all these different things that allow, kind of plaintiffs' attorneys are not bad people, but they're using a system that we really need to reform in order to lower the insurance rates for all the people in all the industries. And so I think that those two things would really help. The final thing I would say is higher education. I think is really important. If you look at places that are really successful, like Austin, Texas, or North Carolina, Massachusetts, and Boston, where I go to work sometimes, they have very successful universities and higher education. And so we really need to look at that and how to improve it, how to make them more successful, how to make them more competitive with our neighboring states. And I think that those things would really be good at attracting jobs, quality jobs, and expanding the economy in Louisiana.
Okay, Pat Phillips, how would you improve the business climate?
I think the first thing we need to do is we need to look at what's going on with the industrial tax exemption program. When Governor Edwards took over the office, he passed executive orders and put many, many layers of inconveniences towards business that stop them from being able to get the tax exemptions they need to be able to grow their business. Okay, with lower taxes, you're going to be able to create jobs. With the jobs, you're going to have people making more income, and you're going to have more income going into revenue, and you're not going to have to raise taxes to have revenue for the state. Now, this is just an example of what's taking place in St. Tammany Parish. This is from the St. Tammany Corporation. I do have to read it. Recently, examples of Dependable Glass Works and the Pinnacle Equipment Corporation were looking for tax relief on their planned retention expansion investments. Instead of obtaining the tax exemption approval from one entity, they had to go through the state, the St. Tammany Parish Council, the St. Tammany Parish School Board, and the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office. Now that adds a lot of burden on these companies. If they're coming from outside the state, they're going to say, well, I go to another state. They're not going to put me through all this rigmarole trying to get an exemption from this one, this one, this one. Now I did talk to Chris Massey, I'm not to put words in his mouth, I hope I got this right. But they're looking, that maybe the St. Tammany Corporation could be a focal point where the local school board, the Parish School Council, and the Sheriff's Office can all work under them. And it would be one entity more than just one for the state. It would be less invasive for the companies to get these exemptions so they could create these jobs. Now, the St. Tammany Corporation cost-benefit analysis showed estimated return on investment would be Dependable Glass, $158,000 in new tax revenue. From Dependable Glass, $538,000 invested. 6 new jobs, and we'll retain 33 existing jobs, and a payroll of $224,000. Metco, it was going to be $334,000 in tax revenue, 10 new direct jobs, and $1.2 million in payroll. And Diversified Foods, I don't think they had to go through that process. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, for retained business, well, we're a small state that plays a major role in national and global commerce. Louisiana should modernize its infrastructure, roads, bridges, waterways, and should be better maintained and safer for all who use them. Louisiana has relied on 16-cent fuel tax since 1984. We are one of 4 states that has not adjusted the fuel tax in 30 years. Cars are much more fuel efficient these days, more than 30 years ago, not to mention people that are driving electric cars. How are they going to be taxed? That has to be addressed. Louisiana has a maintenance backlog on existing bridges and highways totaling $14 billion. Louisiana needs less congestion, shorter commuter time, and better traffic flow. Infrastructure improvement should be better for Louisiana's industries and enhance economic competitiveness. So, tort reform too. Or you can ask about that later.
Now, you can talk about it as long as you have the time.
Okay, Louisiana has the second highest car insurance rates in the country. We need reform. There are problems with the insurance companies, the trial lawyers, the underinsured, and the uninsured drivers. The struggle is for the person who is hurt. Insurance lowballs the settlement of debt, and then that person is forced to sue their insurance company to be adequately compensated. Both the insurance companies and the lawyers need to compromise. 3 of the last 4 Louisiana insurance commissioners have been sent to jail. Who is building this system? We need to insist on ethical leadership and elect people with high integrity.
What I would do is multiple things. I guess the first thing I would do is benchmark. And the lucky thing we have in this state and this year is we have multiple organizations out there, think tanks, that have given us research that enables us to come up with solutions, ideas, goals, and a vision for the state. Now, I'll just give you 2 of them, but benchmarking with the Pelican Institute and with PAR. For example, let's go with the tax reform. I think this is a major consideration for our state, for our areas of businesses. Why is this important? Well, when you benchmark against other states, and you see, and look at taxfoundation.org or look at directly at the analyses done by the Pelican Institute, you can see that there are other states that are so far ahead of us. And what do they do? Some of them are skewed because, like was said earlier, they have no property taxes, for example. But they do have, or no income tax, but they may have higher property taxes. Well, that may work in some states, but we have to be realistic. How can we get there? And if you look at Wyoming, Wyoming is the fastest growth. It's moved up that chart, the U.S. News and World Report chart, 16 places. Why did it do that? Well, it did that because it reduced the tax ramifications from having a complicated and inefficient tax for income and for property and for the others, but in particular for corporate and personal income. It reduced it from having 4 or 6, I think Louisiana's 4, but it had 6 different brackets to having 2, having a 5% and having a 0%, whereas they started at 6%, went down to 2%, and then 0. So that's part of what I would do. Thank you.
Consistently, the membership of the Chamber of Commerce ranks infrastructure and traffic as top concerns. What is your plan to bring state infrastructure dollars back to St. Tammany Parish, and what are the 3 highest priority infrastructure projects in your district?
So, I think this is, I've knocked on like 4,000 doors or something like that. So this is the thing everybody tells me about every day. It's like, I hate wherever you are, whether you're on 22 or whether you're on 190 or wherever, they always say, hey, look, what's the traffic? How come the traffic is so bad? Why is 22? How come 22 never, the 22 expansion? I feel like it's going on forever. And so I hear this every day. And the real problem with this is kind of fundamentally how Louisiana is set up. And what Louisiana does, what we do is we pay all of our state taxes, it all goes to Baton Rouge, and then we have to beg for it all back to fix our problems here, right? And that's just fundamentally backwards, because there's local problems, like most of these infrastructure issues, they're really local problems. And we could keep the money that we pay in the gas tax, which is supposed to go to fix our infrastructure, and instead we pay 20 cents per gallon gas tax, 19 cents goes to Baton Rouge, 1 cent stays in the parish for people who paid it. And that formula, of course, gets now distributed over the entire state. So you have to convince people in Shreveport that the bridge over the Trinquonte River is a problem. Well, the people in Shreveport don't care so much about the bridge over the Trinquonte River, but we do. And it's our tax money that we're begging back to go and fix those problems. So what I suggest we do is we reevaluate that gas tax formula so that at least half of that money stays here, so we decide with our tax money what projects we want to fix. And I think if we did that, we would be able to, first of all, plan in the future and say, we're going to have this revenue every year for the next 20 years or whatever, so we can fix our own problems and plan to make sure that those projects get addressed. As opposed to now, it's basically we just go ahead, we you know, the parish president or the delegation goes up to Baton Rouge and begs and says, hey, we really like this project, can you pay for this project now? We have 3 more people that died on I-12. And so those are the things we really need to look at, is reallocating that gas tax to stay here so we can use our tax money to fix our problems. I think that would significantly improve the quality of life. The top 3 issues, or the top 3 projects I would make, one would be a new solution, east-west, go over to Front River. I think that has to happen. 2 would be continuing to widen I-12. I think that's going to be necessary. And the other, I think, is the other connector over on between what is that? Like Highway 59 or 1088 down to the rear public park. I think that's important.
I think right now, the parish has done a great job on looking outside the box, trying to get funding to improve our infrastructure. They acquired a $25 million grant to widen 912 going from the interchange to 190 towards 21, and that includes widening the bridges that will run the river. Okay? And then they had to match up $7 million, and then the state was forced to basically come up with another $4 million, so that turned into a $36 million grant. Now, phase 2, that was phase 1. Phase 2 is going to be widened I-12 from the interchange up there at 190 over to 59. And they, the parish, once again, they said it worked the first time. Let's go outside the box again, and they got another federal grant. And it's for $52 million. We're going to put all the money together from the state and parish, and that's going to come out probably about $60 million. So that's great. Phase 3 is to widen I-12 going from 21 up to 1077. That money hasn't been appropriated yet. And I think there's a really critical phase that needs to be added to that. And when you're traveling north here from Mandeville and coming south from Covington, there is nothing on the books to add a lane going up to entry lane coming from Mandeville to go to Slidell. You're still going to have to get that single file lane. Nobody's identified that as a project. Nobody's being allocated for that. So I think we're going to have to really look at getting money. And we have the momentum now because of what the state, the parish did, and what the state got the federal grants. Since we have the momentum, let's go after more money now through the federal government and try to fund the interchange up there. Now that's my first part. But the other one here is on 22. The question is, why don't we have a sports lane going on 22? And I know people that have businesses such as Happy Feet, but they're flooding on that. There's drainage issues. So this is all just being good neighbor type things that we need to do. Nobody should have a business that floods every time it rains.
Unlike Richard, I think that, I don't know about putting another bridge over the Front River. Some of my future constituents get off the bridge and it takes them an hour to get home, like if they're out by Shadmere or Woodbridge, just because the traffic is backed up. So if we could, and I noticed this when we put a sign up by Franco's, that light at Franco's should just be a go during peak hours. Just keep going. And then there needs to be a center lane for turning. And then once you reach the people that are all over Madisonville, all the brand new condos and houses up there should not be a light in the middle of Madisonville. That should just be go through. And then put a roundabout up there by the new fire department. And people can go off to all the subdivisions where they want to go. Just one idea. I don't think people want another bridge over there. Just want to get that stuff. So they're coming in. Infrastructure. Well, that's one of them. And then the one that's getting funded for I-12. Flooding, I mean, we have the lakefront control. Too much. We need to have somewhere to run with that. And I think that preservation of the environment, the climate change is involved there.
Thank you. So, related to specifically the transportation infrastructure, and if you exclude the I-12 widening, which is already in progress, if you exclude what we're working on in progress right now, which is the Highway 22 widening between Valley Drive and the overpass, I would say that there are at least 3 different projects that are consequence. Number one is the choker, which in Madisonville is a point that a few people refer to here. I take a little different position. I think if we balance the environmental interest, I think having options is a good thing. If you have options to go to the north side of Madisonville, and it doesn't interfere with the downtown area, and doesn't, the option to do that will provide commerce, will provide people with safe jobs that if they need to get somewhere, point A to point B, they don't have to wait an hour to sit in traffic to get to where they need to go. So that's number one. And how is it funded? I would say public-private partnerships are probably something a lot of other states do. Tollways, so again, I say benchmarks. Tollways in Dallas, for example. You get more traction when there's public when there's sharing of costs, whether it's with the public or other. Okay, so So number two is probably the suicide lane over there in my Councilman Keller's district. So I would say having DOTD put up 5 lanes on 190. It's nice. It's an improvement from what it was before, but it needs to have some safety aspects considered that weren't considered. And there's another one, but I will hold on that since time is limited.
I think what we're missing here in this discussion is the focus on what is a legislator's job regarding transportation and infrastructure needs. The answers here seem like they're black candidates for city council. It's not the legislature's job to micromanage these projects. As a legislator, my priority would be to get as much funding as possible from state and federal sources, work with local entities, the local parish council, the local city council, let them prioritize what is needed. It's not for me as a legislator to say where we need a red light or an extra turn lane. We're here to fund it, get out of the way, let the experts at the local level take care of our needs. Part of transportation development is something that we have to address at the legislative level. It is top-heavy in bureaucracy. I'm not quite sure that it's managed as efficiently as it should be. Dr. Wilson's been there a few years. I want to go there as a legislature and do almost a forensic examination of how the department is structured, see where we need to fix things and change things, and then what laws or statutes need to be changed so that the prioritization of these projects is done by a lot of cooperation and consideration from the legislators. Right now, it's the governor and the unelected bureaucrats at DOTD who make those decisions and prioritize where the funding goes. That is one of the biggest things we have to address. As far as priorities, as I said, that's for the local government officials inside. We all know that the east-west corridor on Highway 22 is a problem. I-12 is already being addressed. I think Pat Brewster and our local officials have a good job on that. And then Aaron brought up a good point, the first one here, that we do need infrastructure elements for flood protection. And that is a huge problem for us here in St. Tammany Parish. The bottom line is, as a legislature, we go get the funding, fix the laws and the administrations of the Department of Transportation, fund it, get out of the way so our local officials decide what's the priority on this.
This next question, I'll start with Pat Phillips, is what is your position on the tort reform package advanced in the last legislative session by Representatives Albert and Senator Hewitt?
I was in favor of the tort reform bill. We currently have a jury threshold of $50,000. In most states, it's much lower, maybe $10,000. If we could just lower it by 1/2, I think it would be a significant change. It would help us reduce the cost of insurance, like auto insurance in the United States. I think it would help the other insurance come out. Insurances we carry like homeowner insurance and so on and so forth. But along with tort reform, I think we also have to talk about, and nobody seems to want to talk about it, is postal lawsuits and legacy lawsuits against oil companies. Okay? Now, to me, it seems kind of unfair that you have a lawsuit on an oil company like Exxon or whoever, who's coming on a piece of property they owned 100 years ago, and say, all of a sudden, several other companies owned it in between there, and now because they have some big dollars in their pocket, we're going to go after them. I don't think that's right. Right? And if you were looking at the paper logo last week, the United States Congress has passed legislation that they're going to do everything they can to stop oil drilling on the East Coast and on the West Coast, You're going to be looking to Buffalo, Alaska again to do that. Now, we need like-minded people to support going against these postal lawsuits, emergency lawsuits in the state of Louisiana House and Senate. And if you think what's going on in the federal government can't trickle down into the state government, you're wrong. And I just ask around here, how many people work for local companies here? How many people work for companies like FMT or whoever that have ships that work for you guys? That's a significant amount of income that comes into this state. And I think we got to do everything we can to protect these little companies, and that's all a blood source of money for us here in this state. Thank you.
Louisiana has the second highest car insurance rates in the country. We need reform. There are problems with the insurance companies, with the trial lawyers, with underinsured people, and the uninsured people. But the problem, the struggle really is with the regular person that gets hurt. Insurance will then lowball them, and then that person is forced to sue the insurance company, which you can't see every day, to be adequately compensated for their injuries. Both the insurance companies and the lawyers need to compromise. They need to brought to the table to the lawyer. 3 of the last 4 Louisiana insurance commissioners are in jail. So we need to insist on ethical leadership and elect people with high standards.
Okay. Our take on this is, Senator Hewitt had put together a bill that allowed for the seatbelt bill. That should have gone through. It got hung up in the state or the Senate Judiciary Committee, and it never made it to the floor. Something like that is possible. So we need to have more transparency. We need to move the items if it's a consideration. I'm not saying that it's a silver bullet, but certainly having seatbelt. If the juries cannot use seatbelts during the trial, that to me says that there's a significant gap that we need to address. So I'm definitely, I think that's one point. The other thing I want to echo, I think one of the other gentlemen said, I think we do need to give more access to the common people. We need to give more access to people related to jury trials. When I started this reform, I said benchmarking. Well, if all the other states are benchmarked at 5,000 or less for jury trials, why are we at 50? So that's a thought there. I would say, in addition to that, we need to make sure that we have a job-friendly, fair, consistent legal environment. We do have the highest in the nation, from my research, excessive litigation, which costs us $15,000, or 15,000 jobs per year, where the families are paying $4,000, and it's partially due to complex tax and laws. I would say we need to also, something that has to be stated, is we need to review outdated laws and not just run there trying to make new laws, but make sure we get rid of some laws that are no longer good. Thank you.
Thank you. Every time we talk about tort reform, I'm reminded, growing up as a kid, as I mentioned earlier, working in my parents' restaurants, lawsuit after lawsuit. The most infamous one was a lady who was walking out the front door of one of our restaurants. There was clearly a sign on the door that said "step down." She opened the door, didn't step down, fell, hit her head, sued because she lost her sense of smell. So the trial attorneys are the ones that we have to get involved with. Tort reform is absolutely necessary. To specifically answer your question, Reginald Talbot, Senator Hewitt are two legislative heroes because they don't tinker around the edges. They're going for bold, comprehensive legal reform. The insurance bill that was passed, that President Talbot brought last session, it died in the Senate because the trial lawyer called killed it. We need more legislators that have executive business management experience, and we have fewer people who have law degrees in Baton Rouge to fight this. One of my biggest concerns as a Republican is that Governor Edwards gets reelected, then his hands are going to be untied, and the trial lawyer will come out working with the trial lawyer bodies in the state Senate. And we have to stop that. So we need a supermajority in the state House, and we need to elect more conservative members into the state Senate so we can stop that and enact comprehensive legal reform. And that's going to be the basis then, as I mentioned earlier, for improving business climate, keeping businesses here, growing the economy, funding our priorities, keeping our peace.
So I support the tort reform package. In case you can get that from other answer. But when I moved to Northern Virginia, we came back here to Goshen. Same policy, same car, same carrier, USAA. Our policy, premiums doubled when we moved here. And so we're like, that's crazy. And the USAA agent on the phone said, congratulations, welcome home, sir. Welcome back to Louisiana. You just doubled your premium. So obviously it's a problem. Everyone in the state of Louisiana, whether you're a business or whether you're a person, is paying about twice as much as they should for insurance. So imagine what that impact is. If you make $30,000 a year, you're paying twice as much for insurance. It's a huge impact on families. It's a huge impact on everyone. I would say, as an attorney, I understand this issue very well. This is one of those things where, there's very specific legal issues that exist. One is the $50,000 jury trial limit. So that was they were fighting the bill in the tort reform package to reduce that. And in most states it's zero because you would think if you got any problem, that you would have a right to have a jury trial and have a jury hear and decide. In Louisiana, you don't have that right if it's under $50,000. That's something we need to change. Another problem is the direct action statute, which means that you don't actually have to sue the person who hurt you can sue his insurance company. Well, in a lot of states, you can't even introduce into evidence the fact that they had insurance because they don't want to prejudice the jury to say, hey, you're suing some big insurance company, it's not a big deal. And so in a lot of states, that information is suppressed. But here, you say the insurance company, State Farm, is sitting at the table. So people in the jury, they think, hey, look, State Farm has lots of money. We'll raise that. They can pay. Another problem is the seatbelt gag order. You have the seatbelt gag order that says, hey, if you get hurt in an accident and it's somebody else's fault, the jury cannot hear the fact that even though you were required by law to wear a seatbelt, you can't, that's not, you didn't contribute, there's no contributory negligence. So you're not at fault at all in the fact you were ignoring the law, and so now your damages are significantly higher than the insurance company makes it pay. That's also something that's pretty unique to Louisiana. Finally, you have the collateral source rule, which lets you recover more damages from medical bills than what you actually paid. And that's a problem too. All these things end up in our rocket, sky high premiums, only in the system.
Thank you. This last question will start with Aaron Powell. And the question, Aaron, is early childhood represents the most critical time for brain development. What initiatives would you introduce or support to increase the availability of quality early education options in the state for children under age 12?
Early education, the data indicates high quality early childhood education brings sizable return on investment. 2/3 of young children in Louisiana have both parents working. Currently, Louisiana invests less than 1% of the general fund into early education. Public schools, part of public schools is strong accountability, rigorous academic standards, high-quality assessments, and highly qualified teachers. In terms of teachers, daycare teachers aren't paid well. If that is what I'd like to invest in, highly qualified early education teachers that know what they're doing, instead of just putting it in front of teachers that. And then also, it all runs in together, all education, higher education of the workforce. It needs to be affordable higher education. We need to raise the educational attainment of all our citizens. We need to improve opportunities for people, expand the workforce, and build a more prosperous and stronger state. Children, in terms of early childhood, children should enter kindergarten ready to learn. Evidence indicates if they are ready to learn in kindergarten, they are less likely to be held back in school, drop out, require special education services, develop chronic health problems, or enter the criminal justice system. Further, more students will graduate from high school, earn a post-secondary degree or credential, and go into the workforce to find high-quality jobs and contribute to the well-being of the state. So it's essential to have quality building here.
Okay, fortunately, I did hear a little bit of the statistics in our parish earlier this morning with Trey Falls over at the Bureau of Government Research meeting. You know, we have 33 out of maybe 55 schools that have early education, which is great, but it's something that needs to be improved just here in our backyard. Another statistic that was thrown out that's pretty shocking is 43% of the people in children, which are the main stakeholders, depend on some kind of assistance, food assistance or other. And you'd be shocked to see that that's in our backyard, that high statistic. So to me, and having a wife who's worked both in the public and the private schools, I hear this and other issues with Common Core and some of the other Eureka Math, which has some problems with it. If anybody's familiar, my son being in 7th grade and I got the question right, like 761 million views or links over on Google as well as all the other standards. But once somebody decides to change it, it takes out the stakeholders. So the stakeholders being the teacher, primarily the families and the children. And that really needs to stop. We need to find some kind of way to improve. Now, one thing I did state in the prior, one of the Republican prior discussions was that there's a 13-to-1 ROI for early childhood education. So to me, that needs to be the central issue, and I'm certainly in favor of supporting the legislation.
Here in St. Tammany, we are blessed with a really good education system. We can always have room for improvement, of course. I go back to my consistent theme as a legislator. My job, number one, after elected, is to meet with Trey Falls superintendent of schools, meet with all the school leaders here locally, and see what the priorities are that they need. What do they need from the state legislature to fund properly, and to help them implement the reforms and changes and improve the education system that how they like to do it. I've got eight nieces and nephews, 2 dogs and a cat. I've got about 2 dozen kids who live up and down my street in front of my house all the time, photo my dog. And one of the things I've really enjoyed doing during this campaign is speaking with the parents of these kids, speaking with my sister and brother-in-law, nieces and nephews' parents, and my neighbors, and what's important to them. And what's interesting is there's sometimes a disconnect between the political class and we're at all these functions and talking with the leaders. And then I'm talking with the individuals on my street, the parents, and they're saying, yeah, our school system is really good, but we need A, B, C, D, E. So the parents are the ones that we really have to go to. Trust our leaders, combine that with the parents, give the advice, what do they need, and then as a legislator, I've got to go find the money, build coalitions, fund the problem, send the money back here locally, get out of the way so these experts can teach our kids.
So luckily I am a parent. I have 2 preschoolers and I have a kindergartner. So this issue is something that matters a lot to me, and I have firsthand knowledge of the problem. I can tell you that if you look at the statistics, of course, the return on investment on the early childhood education is one of the biggest, one of the largest of anything you can spend money on. And so I usually use that as my example. Anytime anybody asks me what I think about a program or how would I spend money on this, I say, well, look, the return on investment on early childhood education is between 7 and 13 to 1. I was like, because whatever you're proposing is to return something better than that. Because before that, I would say we need to fund early childhood education because that's a better, it's a better thing for our part. And I can tell you just personally, my kids, when they go to, it amazes me the things that they learn in preschool. I'm like, I don't think I learned that until like 1st grade. And they come home and they write their name and they do all these things. So I think it makes a significant difference. I think the research in it really shows. And I think that what exists right now in Louisiana, we have a voucher program for qualified preschoolers, but it's mostly funded by federal grants. And so those grants come and go, and they can disappear. And also there's a huge waiting list for people who want to get their kids in that program. So I think what we need to do is really look at all the funding and what we're spending money on in the state of Louisiana and say, maybe our 3-year-olds and 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, maybe they're a little bit more important than some of these other things we're spending money on. Because I think that the return on investment is just huge. And we can really put that money in there through vouchers so that qualified kids, or especially low income. But I think that we can prioritize that money in order to make a big impact in those kids' lives. And I think that it pays across the board as far as better achievement, less likelihood that kids will go to prison or those kind of things. And so really those programs really pay themselves, And I think putting money into that is probably one of the most altruistic things that we can do. And so I would definitely support kind of a private voucher program, or even use public schools as well if they have capacity to put kids in early childhood education.
Well, everybody knows, and there's always a lot of talk, how a child's brain forms. 90% of it is formed by the age of 5. Half the children in Louisiana are up to kindergarten ready to learn if they had early childhood education. If they hadn't had it, they would have time to learn. The cost of tuition for early childhood would be about $7,500 per year for the school. That's like going to college. Economic impact report from Louisiana Policy Institute for Children gave a lot of great statistics. There's 173,000 children that need child care, 22,000 are early childhood care education, 22,000 receive care, which is down to 22,000 from 10 years ago. 1 in 7 parents with children age 4 or under are turned down for promotion for their job. 1 in 5 parents leave full-time work for part-time work because they have to take care of their kids. 1/2 of men and women miss work regularly due to child care issues. 1 in 6 parents had to quit a job. 1 in 13 parents have been fired. Now, we get back to the dedicated funds issue. We have 290 of them, 20 of them are constitutionally protected, 270 of them are statutorily protected. So we're going to have to look at this one. So Sharon Hewitt, subcommittee, we find $120 million over the last couple of years. We didn't need to be dedicated. That's a significant amount of money to give a lot of bang for the buck for early childhood care. And we do need to have a constitutional convention to keep looking at all these constitutionally protected dedicated funds. Until we do that, we can have too much money piled up. Like I said, we have about $4.3 million instruments. Thank you.
We're going to go to the lightning round, and I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to go ahead and in the lightning round, we'll start with David, and we move right down. It's a yes or no answer. What I'll do is I'll ask the question, and the answer, I'll repeat it for each one of you, so there's no confusion. And then we'll move to the next lightning round question, which will start with you, Dennis.
So this is going to be very difficult for politicians. Yes or no?
Okay, so question number 1. David, do you support a constitutional convention?
Yes.
Vincent, do you support? You do support a constitutional convention. Richard?
Absolutely.
Pat?
Yes.
Yes.
Aaron, okay. Now, I need you guys on my juries. Let's start then with the next one, Vincent. We'll start with you. Do you support the 2016 Medicaid expansion?
No. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Third question. And we'll start with, let's see, Richard, you'll be the first one to answer, and we'll move down that one and come back around. Do you support the legalization of recreational marijuana?
No.
Pat?
No.
Yes.
Dave?
No.
Yes. No? Last question, starting with Pat. Do you support consolidation of Louisiana's higher education system? Do you support consolidation of Louisiana's higher education system?
Yes.
No.
David? Do you support? No.
Yes. Yes.
All right, now we're going to go to the final section, which is the closing remarks. Each person is going to have 2 minutes.
Thank you. It's nice to run for office, and I salute all my candidates here. I'm the oldest of 8 children and was raised as an Irish Catholic Democrat, so it's in my DNA. I didn't go anywhere without it. I spent a lifetime advocating for and their families. I am passionate about education, mental health, infrastructure, and fighting for environmental preservation. I am uniquely qualified as both an educator and mental health professional. I am a champion of middle-class values. I am a mainstream candidate and understand that solutions are more important than bias. I believe in strength, tradition, and open-mindedness. I support policy based on evidence and data, not ideology. I value compromise and moderation. I will strive for common sense solutions that address current and future needs. I am considerate of traditional values and new ideas in the context of evolving needs. I will support the public trust and serve the common good. I support funding teachers, police, and fire departments. I trust in small businesses, job creation, and empowering local communities. I can work with any and all people. Power is built by uniting across groups and issues to advocate for the policies that positively affect the lives of citizens. God bless Louisiana, God bless Danville, and District 89.
My name is Pat Phillips. I'm the endorsed Republican candidate for State Representative, House District 89. And as I stated before, I will be a full-time legislator. I plan to utilize my military leadership skills to grow the economy, fix the budget, and invest in our people. I'm going to fight to keep taxes as low as possible for individuals and business. Lower taxes are required to grow our economy by helping corporations create jobs, which creates a larger tax base and more revenue without raising taxes. One way to fix the broken budget structure is to continue reevaluating Louisiana's $290 dedicated funds. That ties up about $4.3 billion that we can't work with as legislators. As we grow the economy and fix the budget, we will have the resources needed to keep our people healthy and to invest in a world-class education system for our children. I stated before, we need to maintain and build our infrastructure to support our economy, and no plans exist for multiple entry lanes at the junction of I-12 and US 190. And that's where we have our greatest opportunity, because we have the momentum. I'm against coastal legacy lawsuits and against oil companies, and I'm for tort reform. My campaign is not about me. It's about representing the best interests of District 89 and St. Timothy Parish in the state of Louisiana. We need a full-time legislator. As a Marine Corps officer, I fought to protect our country. And in the environment I came from, you formed a plan, you disseminated the plan, and you executed the plan. But we minimized the talking, because while we were talking, Marines were dying. We had a sense of urgency. In Baton Rouge, with no sense of urgency to get the job done. From my heart, I humbly ask for your vote. As your endorsed Republican candidate, I promise to be a full-time legislator. I will minimize the talking, roll up my sleeves, and get the work done to maintain a thriving St. Timothy Parish of Louisiana. God bless America and the great state of Louisiana. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I would say that the best thing that I bring to the table is qualification. I mean, I grew up here. I'm an engineer. I'm an attorney. I understand these issues. I spent 7 years serving in the Foreign Service and State Department, as a diplomat and officer all around the world. And I bring all that knowledge back here to try and help my hometown. I'm running because I care. I grew up here. I'm raising my kids here, and I have a significant amount of time in the state of Louisiana remaining, and I really care and really invested in the outcome. And so there's nobody that's going to go to Baton Rouge and fight hard for our interests than I will. Because my family's life is on the line, my life is on the line, and it really makes a difference to me. I work for a small business. I manage $1 million projects, and so the life of my business is also on the line. I care more than anybody else up here because my dad would call this a ham and egg situation, right? So the chicken's involved, but the hog's convicted. So I'm the hog, everything else on the line. I'm trying to make this state better, and that's why I'm running. I would say that the biggest priorities that we have and the biggest things that I fought for, you guys have already heard. But I think we can take our tax money back from Baton Rouge. We need to use it and prioritize it ourselves. And the more control that you can give to the local governments, the The more money that we decide and how we're going to spend it and how we're going to raise it, that's more control that the citizens and the individual people here in the district have. And I think that's how we make Louisiana better. This is kind of a new idea here in Louisiana, because we're so used to sending all of our money to Baton Rouge. And the issue, though, is that that makes it very inefficient, and it makes it not, it gives other people control of how our tax dollars are spent. We really need to bring it back home. The second thing is that we really need to have to make business more competitive here in Louisiana. Stop people going to Texas and Virginia and California and all those other places. And we can do that with people who understand the issues. I understand what's going on. I understand government. I work in government. I understand private business. I work in private business. I fought all these challenges and I succeeded. So I ask you for your vote. Thank you very much.
I want to thank the forum for putting, thank the chamber for putting this forum on today. Thank you, Warren, and thank you all for coming out in the middle of the day. I think I'm just going to make a few observations. We covered a lot of issues today. But, in this election cycle, we have about half, because of term limits, we have about roughly half of the House of Representatives will be new members. We'll have a new Speaker of the House. We'll have a new President of the Senate. So we have a historic opportunity to really enact comprehensive reforms that this state needs. So now more than ever, this state needs a representative in the legislature who has real-world experience in managing people, managing businesses, making payroll, creating jobs, and finding solutions to problems and building coalitions to solve those problems. Some of my colleagues up here mentioned today in previous forums they manage multi-million-dollar deals. I'm sure they've done a fine job. But I'm the only person in the state who's been the principal in multi-million-dollar deals. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because it provides a fundamentally different way of analyzing business. When you're the principal, if you're the one that has to first guarantee that multi-million-dollar loan. When you're the principal, you're the one that has to make sure the interest payments are met. When you're the principal, you have to make sure payroll is met. The return on investment is there for your partners and investors. And in the worst case scenario, is your budget has to cover the losses. So that has given me a fundamentally different way of critically thinking and analyzing problems and coming up with solutions. It's that experience we need in the legislature. It's that experience that I will use in managing tax dollars. It's one thing to memorize and talk about a lot of stats and statistics. It's another thing to be able to lead, build coalitions, and serve the populace legislature. My parents have always told me growing up, don't make your way in life, son. If you want to serve in public office, then do so. Well, I'm at that point in my life right now. I'm 50 years old. I have the time to serve. I have the business experience and the life experience. Thank you.
Okay, so there are primarily two things that are important in an election. First, you need to have a statement that's right on the issues. As a pro-business, pro-family, pro-conservative leader, you can count on me to represent your values in Baton Rouge. I'll lead the way of lower taxes, improving infrastructure, protecting life, and protecting other rights. Second, and critically important, is that you have someone who's done the job of being a leader in government, and I've done both. As a matter of fact, having served on the city council for over 7 years, I'm the only person who has experienced an effective or elected government leadership. And as you know, I've taken the responsibility very seriously and have gotten the job done working with my constituents and members of the community. We have accomplished a great deal, including improving budget processes and procedures, lowering property taxes for our area residents and businesses, promoting government transparency, improving streets, including state highways, one of which I'm working on now, protecting against overly intrusive growth and many other things. The third related point gleaned from this Mr. Foltz's education presentation this morning. It's not always best to be the highest IQ. I think highest EQ is, and listening to the stakeholders is critically important. Knowing the pressures and special interests that will come our direction is critical to be open-minded, get firm on principles, research the issues in depth, and use the important soft skills, such as listening to points of view that may or may not be the same, collaborate, communicate, and build coalitions, do the right thing. It takes someone with courage and leadership. Work across the aisle. Work with Governor Edwards if he gets elected. Work with other parties. When I get to Baton Rouge, I'll have someone who can stand up and effectively represent the interests of our area day one. I know the processes and the people, and I won't need on-the-job training like all the others it's raised. Thank you.
And we're really just going to reiterate what was said earlier, and that is to thank each of you for putting yourselves up to serve our community.